Going live. Oh, we are live. Hi, guys. Okay, the Hangout is live and we're on air. So, happy Saturday to everybody, first of all. And welcome back to our Saturday Focus Group Hangout. And it's good that I remembered it was Saturday, even though my wife's not here to remind me, so I'm proud of myself. So, the first thing I want to do, there were some questions during the course of the week that were asked, some very good questions, and I want to just touch base, very, very briefly, because I think it's going to help you guys also in terms of getting new members into your community, getting more engagement, and even, going out and finding, we were talking a little bit about your target audience last week, and I want to touch base a little bit on that too today. But I think that this is going to help. So one of the first things Dig had asked the other day, and it was very good that he actually saw this, and as ties into what we were talking about before with Claudia and her post in her community, the engagement post. One of the things that we want to do, I'm going to share my screen for a second. I'm going to go to my community, and then I'll tell you exactly what we're doing here. So give me a moment. And let's see. Here we go. Can you guys just unmute yourself and tell me if you can see my community right now on your screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Now,
Yes.
Dig's question, he was very astute, and when I was up in the middle of the night posting something to my community, I posted something with a comment with the word bump. And Dig had asked me why I was doing that, and there's a very, very good reason why I'm doing that, and you guys can do it also, and I think it's going to help you to get more engagement. You probably noticed already, as you post content on a daily basis, and sometimes it's more than just one piece of content, might be multiple pieces in a given day, and then welcoming people into your community, your posts tend to drop down very, very quickly, and something that maybe even was a post where you got good engagement, all of a sudden it starts to go all the way down and down and down to the bottom of the thread, and nobody's really going to see it, nobody's really going to engage in it anymore, and it may be something that you really feel is an important piece of content that you created, and you want to make sure people see it. And also, Claudia, this is what I would like to see you do when you go back to your community. Find the post that we spoke about before where you had that engagement, and all you have to do, so I like to keep like my Facebook birthday strategy near the top. I don't like to let it drop too far. I want new members to see it, or even existing members that maybe hadn't seen it before. I want to keep it, not as a pinned post. That's certainly, you can only have one pinned post, for your community. But one of the things that you can do very easily is just where it says write comment. I mean, it could be almost anything, but, most people that I've seen do this, including myself, just type in the word bump, because basically what you're doing, you're bumping that post from wherever it is now in your feed back up to the top. So this is starting to fall, and if I just put in the word bump, and now you can see how far down it was, and now I go down, go back up, and I refresh, and now you'll see right under my pinned post is my Facebook birthday strategy. So now new people into my group, or people that are just visiting that have even been in the group for a while, will see that, and they may go ahead and start to engage. So I'll be able to renew engagement that I was getting and get more engagement. And then you just go in and you just delete the word bump, because that certainly doesn't need to be there. And then now that you've taken a piece of content that you already got engagement on, moving it up so you'll get more engagement. Now what happens, once somebody engages, and why we want to do the same thing for Claudia, is that it's going to go back into your newsfeed. So if Claudia, if you bump that post all the way back up to the top, the rest of us go in, make a comment, it's going to go into our newsfeed, more people will be exposed to it, and you're going to get more comments, more people in your community will also be exposed to it. So now you can even get more comments. So that is what I suggest that we all do if you have a good piece of content and you really just don't want to see it fall too far. All right, so if you guys have any questions about that, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away.
So you type the word bump?
Yeah, you just type in the word bump, just like you were actually going to type in a comment. Just type in bump, hit enter, and then you refresh your page, and you'll see that wherever that particular piece of content was on your page, Now it's going to be pushed all the way up to the top right under your pinned post. And I do that with several of my posts because there are several pieces of content that I really don't want to fall too far because I want people to, it's not going to be front and center. But most people, when they go to your group, they'll scroll down a little bit and look at, several posts before they stop scrolling down. So this way they'll be exposed to it. So I do that with like 5 or 6 pieces of content that I like to keep, near the top of my my page at all times. The birthday strategy is one. The information about the mastermind group is another one. And anytime I have some sort of a tip, like even the Facebook Opportunity Group posting tip, and things like Double Your Pleasure tip, things like that are really going to be helpful tips that people can really, resonate with and take advantage of. I like to try and keep those near the top.
Okay, so you actually type bump, and
Yep.
you click post?
No, you can just hit enter. Hit your enter key.
Yeah, enter. But then how do you refresh your page?
Well, the best thing to do, if you just go back up, you can still see my my page now, right?
Yeah.
You can actually just scroll all the way back up to the top of the page, and this is a clickable link, just the name of your group.
Okay.
So if you just click on that, that essentially is refreshing your page.
And then you won't see the word bump?
Well, what you're going to do is, because it's your group, you have control over the content, especially that you post. So if bump is over there, I'll do it again real fast. So now here's bump. Okay, I'm going to enter, go back in, click on the name of the group, so it's going to appear right under the pinned post, and then all you have to do is over here, you'll see like the little edit icon, click on that, and then you can delete that comment. You're not deleting the whole post, you're just deleting whatever that particular comment was.
Okay.
So once you hit delete and say, yes, you're sure you want to delete that, absolutely. And then again, if you go back up to the top, you click on the name of the group, you'll see now when you go back there, it's where it's supposed to be, and the word bump is gone. Because people are going to look at that and they're going to wonder why you have bump there.
I remember my question.
Sorry, time is over. You had a time limit on that. Yeah, go. What's your question?
I typed in the question thing as I remembered it.
Oh, good.
Okay, I know Gavin says to make our groups public, but I was wondering, I noticed that I have spies spying, and they look at all my posts, but they do not join my group, because you know how you can see who sees your posts? Mm-hmm. And I see people, and I'm like, who is this person? And I can see them almost on every post, and they're looking, but they don't never join the group. So I'm wondering, should I make my group private so they can't spy and they have to actually join the group to see it?
Another excellent question, and I've debated with that myself back and forth, but it seems as though most of the groups, at least the good groups, are public. And the reason I think it's important to keep it public is, if people are going to spy on your group, even if they're going to use some of your content, it's actually, it's funny, the way that I choose to look at it, it's really a compliment, because people, it's frustrating because people aren't necessarily joining your community, but, it should be an open book. You've got great content, and I think all of us do that are, in this focus group, and the nice thing is you can drive traffic where people are going to go to your public group. They're going to be able to see the kind of value that you provide. More often than not, people will join your community. So I think it's important for them to see, because people sometimes are going to be reluctant to just join a community, sight unseen, not really knowing what's going to be there, and then a lot of them just wind up leaving the group 5 minutes later. So I think if they can actually have a preview of the content and the kind of value that you have in your group, most people are going to be more likely to go ahead and join the community. Now, if you can see the names of the people that are actually looking at your group, then you can also reach out to them on Facebook. And if they're seeing your group as a public group, so they may not be your friend, but you can still send them a message, and you can connect with them, find out a little bit about them, look at their modules, look at their profile, see if they're a marketer, and get an idea if it's somebody worth pursuing. And then you can go in there and you can send them a private message, and it might go to their other, their message request box, but you'll be able to get a message through to them, and then you can start a conversation. Then you can invite them to join your community and let them know the benefits of joining your community. They'll have full access, because they're still not getting full access if they don't join. So if they join, it's to their benefit. So hopefully that answered your question.
It does, but some of the spies I have gone into the profiles, and there's not much there. They're like new Facebook people, and I don't know what is up with them. I mean, they don't have hardly any posts. They have one or two pictures, and I've just been in contact sometimes with just some strange people that like contact me or they friend me, and I look at their pages, and I'm wondering if it's a fake account, so I don't like friend them back. And it just seems kind of strange to me why they don't have any information basically, and they're like spying in my group.
Yeah, then there's certainly not any sort of a threat, and if anything, they might be totally new to Facebook, totally new to network marketing, and they're trying to learn. So they might not even be aware or sure of what they're doing or why they're doing it. So, like we discussed last week, there are a couple of options over here. Number one, you can say, all right, these people are total newbies. It's not really worth the time and the energy and the effort because I want to connect with people that do understand the industry, and I want to leverage my time that way. Or, the other side of the coin is, you know what, these people really do need my help. They really don't have a clue what they're doing. And between my community and between MLSP, I can really help these people to become good marketers and maybe, monetize that and get them to join me. So, you've got both ends of the coin over there, and it just depends upon where you are in your business and, the time that you have. I've done both. I've ignored them because I realized that it's not going to go anywhere, and I'm just going to be spinning my wheels and spending time that I don't have, and I want my time to be spent wisely, and I want it to be spent by doing income-producing activities, not necessarily hand-holding. So you have to ask yourself that question and figure out which is the best route for you to take yourself. So either way, there's no wrong answer. There's no necessarily right answer. It's up to you.
I would do that, but it's scary for me because I have had people like fake accounts like message me and stuff, and I reported them and stuff like that. So it's kind of scary to wonder whether there's actually an actual legitimate person behind that or what is going on, and that's why I haven't done it, because I don't really know if, like, when I look at their account, there's not enough information for me to really know whether it's fake or whether it's legitimate or what. It kind of freaks me out.
No, you're absolutely right. And if that's the case, I would not do that. I mean, people have their Facebook profiles hacked all the time. I just had one the other day where it happened to be somebody that I had already had conversations with and somebody I've been friends with, so our message chain was still intact, so I knew who it was coming from, but it wasn't her name. Her name is Sharon, and this was a male persona, and it was almost like a stage name, almost like a fictitious made-up name, and it definitely wasn't her. So she had her Facebook profile hacked, and it happens all the time. But this was actually somebody that did have a presence on Facebook that I've been friends with for a while. So if you see somebody and you have a gut feeling that maybe it's, there's nothing there, there's, no photos, no information, the modules are empty, in your case, and in many cases, I would just not put the time and effort into it because it's probably not going to get you very far. And even if it's not, a fictitious account, and even if it is somebody legitimate that just joined Facebook and they haven't had a chance to really do anything, they're so new. And just because they're new to Facebook doesn't mean that they're new to network marketing. So keep that in mind also. I mean, you have a lot of people that are late to the dance that really haven't gone on Facebook yet. They've been offline marketers, entirely. And they might be very successful network marketers in big organizations. So you don't necessarily want to cut your nose to spite your face and not engage with them. Because just because they're new on Facebook, like I said, they just maybe, now they're doing online marketing and they've heard that Facebook is a great way to generate leads. And it could be somebody who could really be somebody that can really explode your business. So, but if it's somebody that you can see is very, very young, or if they do have anything in their modules. I mean, sometimes people will put pictures of themselves from 40 years ago, so that's not always a great indicator. But they'll at least, you know, in their profile, even if most of the modules are closed, a lot of times they will at least put their birth date, so you'll know how old they are. And if it's somebody that's really a teenager, or 20, 21, 22, and doesn't have any information, then you know they're probably, you know, relatively inexperienced. They're not network marketers for the past 10 years and have a huge following. So in a case like that, I would definitely say don't waste your time. But, you know, again, you know, glean from it whatever you possibly can. And there is one other thing that actually is I'm going to show you in a few minutes that's going to lead into another way you can find out a little bit more about them in Google+. And well, first of all, if there are any other questions before I go into this next thing, which I think will be very helpful, which was a question that Claudia had posed during the course of the week that I think is an excellent question and will help a lot of us. I want to go through that also. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free. Okay, boardroom right ahead. Now, during the week, Claudia had asked me a question, and I think it's important for all of us that basically have MLSP, and whether we have our own autoresponders or whether we have the default autoresponder, it's important to be able to try and get people from our list into our community. And there are a couple of things that I do that have been somewhat effective, but you know, not necessarily, they haven't really gotten me necessarily the results that I wanted, so I've taken it one step further, and that's what I want to show you how to do as well. Now, I'm going to share one of my notepads with you very quickly, so give me a second, and we're going to do another quick share. Let's see, I believe this is the one. No, that's not the one. Bear with me for a moment, guys. I guess I can put it over here.
Is anybody confused with my question?
Well, if they are, they won't be after I, show you guys. I'll explain a little bit more what it is, so that'll be fine. Now, one of the things that was asked is basically when you're going to get a lead into MLSP. Again, it might be in your default autoresponder, it might be in your AWeber, you get response. If you have it tied in from MLSP and it's integrated with your own autoresponder. So one of the things you want to be able to do, because you want to be able to monetize your list. So if you want to send out a broadcast message, let's say, and I do this at least once a week. I mean, I don't feel comfortable personally doing it more than that. So I usually send out a weekly message broadcast to my list, specifically with a message about the MLSP Wednesday webinar. And what's going to happen, I get a lot of opens to my emails, but I don't get as many clicks as I would like. So people tend to, they'll open your email, and if it's pure value, that's great. But if there are links in there, sometimes you'll get the opens, but you're not going to get the rate that you like as far as actual clicks. But however, one of the things that I do, and one of the things that people usually look at when you send them an email or a broadcast message through an autoresponder, they'll look at the PS, what you have at the very end. They might read the very beginning, and then they won't read a lot of the stuff in the middle, but they'll jump to the end. So one of the things that I've done, and I've gotten mixed results, but it is something that you guys can do if you send out broadcast messages, because once they're on your list and they're going into your autoresponder, you can just go in, you can send out a message 7 days a week if you want to. But one of the things I do, I'll send out a message, I have a template, I send out a message which we went over last week, as far as the weekly webinar, and then I'll do a PS at the end. Now, can you see my notepad, first of all?
Yes, I can.
Okay, then I'll assume everybody else can too. Great. Okay, right. So I'll just put a simple PS over here. I'd like to invite you to my new community. I'll be providing tips and training and strategies, et cetera, and then I'll give them a link to join my community now. So that would be a direct link, and that's one way to possibly get them to join your community and to sort of utilize your broadcast message and your list to do that. However, like I said, I get mixed results. I've had people join my community from a broadcast message, but these days people are on so many lists. They get so many emails that they can't possibly open and respond to all of them. So it's not quite as effective as it once was. The other thing that you can do in addition to that, being in MLSP, all of your leads, in addition to going into your autoresponder, are also going into your CRM. You can create, if you haven't already done so very easily, you can create, you only have to do it once, and then you can just keep using it over and over and over again. Create a message showing that you're a real person, not part of an autoresponder sequence, not even sent through a broadcast, but an actual email through your CRM to somebody, introducing yourself, that you're a real person, and then in that course of the email message, then again invite them to join your community. That tends to be somewhat more effective for me personally than even a broadcast message. I've gotten better results doing that. And the other thing that you can do, and I'm going to stop sharing this now so I can come back live. Okay, here I am. Okay, and the other thing that you can do, which also works well, and I'm going to do a different screen share now, but you know what? First I have to go back to one of these notepads, and I'm going to utilize Claudia as an example over here. So sorry about that, Claudia, but I just want to grab some information just to illustrate my point. Okay,
sure.
now, actually we'll do it with your email.
So I guess one of my questions is, Mark, should we be, even when we're with MLSP and we're trying to build our community, should I be driving people, to the MLSP, links, or should I be driving people to my community? I guess that's where I have a huge confusion. Do you see what I'm saying?
I sure do.
We're being taught, if you're taking the 6-Step Pro with Gavin, you don't want to put links in. Yet you go to MLSP and we have all our product campaigns and our system campaigns, and every one of them has a link. So it confuses me, and I guess that was my question to you on my earlier this week too, was I get a lot of response when I do the MLSP things and some of them, and I drive a lot of people, to my AWeber, to my autoresponder, but then I don't know what to do with them. It's like they get lost in my autoresponder. They're in the autoresponder world, and yes, I have messages that go out, and they have like 20 they get when they first come in, something like that. And then they get one once a week, then they get one, once every couple of weeks, that kind of thing. But I don't know how to drive them from there, to my community. And you did address that, but I am confused on being an affiliate with MLSP, and do we advertise those links, or do we really just try to drive? For me, I think the benefit is to drive everybody to our community, and then talk about MLSP, not do it the other way. So that's my question.
No, you hit the nail on the head, and I'll explain that. Yeah, go ahead, Tamara.
From the training I've been getting, that's where your double your pleasure training comes in. That you put it in you put the training and with the link in your documents in your community, and then get people that teaser post to get them to go into the community to get the thing. That way, you're killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, go ahead, finish up.
Is that what I'm understanding through that strategy?
Absolutely. One thing that I'll say is that prior to us setting up our communities, then just dealing with MLSP, you definitely have great links. You have a lot of links. I've gotten great results. I've got a lot of sign-ups. Just starting a conversation, having a conversation with people, you still, regardless of anything else, you don't want to just post your link on your profile page or anything like that. But when you're having conversations with people, then it's easy to, as the conversation gets to a certain point where you're finding out more about their needs and their challenges and things like that, if you see that MLSP might be a good fit for them, then you can certainly give them a link and possibly get them to take a trial and to join and good things like that. However, Now that we all have been using Gavin's strategy, and we all have the 6-step sponsoring sequence, and we're creating communities, this is probably, of all the strategies that I've used in the past, this is the most powerful one. And definitely, Tamara, what you said, you're absolutely right. You want to use those teaser posts where there's a double your pleasure. You want to utilize, Claudia, all that you have in MLSP, but just utilize it in a different way now than you might have done in the past, pre-community type of thing, because now you have the advantage that you can create a teaser post, create an engagement post, and get people into your community where they can see the value that you provide. And once they see you as a provider of value and a solution provider, then your whole status, your authority status, if you want to call it that, your expert status, everything changes. People are looking at you differently. They're going to want to know more about you. They're going to be more willing to join your business because they see that you provide value. And most people don't. Probably the current upline doesn't. They probably don't get the support that they deserve. But they're going to get it in your community, which is going to make them probably more willing to join you as you build that relationship. So by creating those posts that drive people into your community, and then when they opt in into your, they become a lead in MLSP, then you're definitely killing those two birds with one stone, and it's more, as we said previously, more bang for the buck. So it's much, much more powerful to do it that way. So to answer your question is, yes, you definitely want to bring people into your community first. That's what I've been doing. I find it much, much more effective. I mean, I found the other way effective too, but I just find this to be a more powerful way of doing things. And then you've got, everything. One of the things that you want to keep in mind also, just basic attraction marketing. The essence of attraction marketing is really basically teaching people. When you show people and teach people, I mean, if you've done a little bit of research, and now we have what we have as far as, the 6 steps, the course that we all have right now, this is great content. It's great stuff that most marketers are not aware of. So now you can teach that. You can train people. You can help people. So now that you have that, people are going to be attracted to you. And that's major. That's more than 97% of the people in the industry have. So you've got the tools, you've got the resources to really be able to take your business, if you have one, to the next level, and really just help people to build their own business and make your mark that way. So yeah, definitely, going into your community, driving traffic into your community is definitely the way to go. And then building relationships. You're going to see people who raise their hand, who are engaging. Those are the people that you want to build the relationship with first and foremost. And you want to, whether it's the conversation ascension or it ties into what I spoke about last week with the script book that I told you guys about, it gives you a way. You want to have a conversation, and in the conversation there are things that you need to find out about your lead, about your prospect, about your new friend. And if you ask the right questions, you're going to get answers, and then you're going to know beyond a shadow of a doubt if it's somebody that you want to work with, if it's somebody that needs what you have to offer, and then you can gradually find out more about them, find out what experience they have in network marketing. And it basically, they're gonna at some point in time, you're not gonna have to even bring up your business, which you should never do anyway, unless your prospect asks you about your business and what business you're in. And they will, because once you show value and you've had that conversation, you're asking the right questions, they're going to eventually ask you what business you're in. They're going to want to know more. And once you get that green light, and once you find out if they've got experience in the industry, then you can bring them into whatever business you have, whatever your primary is, or MLSP, or both. And certainly MLSP provides amazing value, and then it's much easier to transition people in and get them into your primary business if you have one. So it's, that's very powerful. So starting with the community is, I think, the best strategy out there, and one that most marketers don't do. And they certainly don't encourage their teams to do it. So I think that what we have here, with all the satellite communities and all the support and the recognition that the Networking Superstars team is getting, and the exposure, makes it better for all of us also, because when we say, most people, when they join an opportunity and they want to work with you, they join not necessarily because of the company, not because of the benefits or the comp plan or the products. They join because of you. And most people want to make sure that they have support, and they're going to have proper training, and they're going to want to know that they want to have systems that duplicate, and they want to know in their own mind that they're going to be able to do this too. So most people just don't have the support, and they don't have the training. So when you say that you're a member of a great team, the Networking Superstars, and we've got amazing resources, we've got amazing training, we've got amazing support, and we've got all kinds of satellite communities, and we've got focus groups, and we've got mastermind groups, and we have the main group for the journey to freedom, and just all the other things, and the training that Gavin does for the Networking Superstars School. I don't know of any other team. I'm sure they exist, but I personally don't know of any other team. I've certainly never had it in any business I've been in that provides that kind of value. So that puts you in a much, much better position to be able to entice people to join you, not just because of the business that you may be in, but because of the value that you provide, and on a larger scale, to be a part of a group that provides additional support and additional resources. That's a win-win. So you can really leverage that big time. And when you become an ambassador, which Claudia is about to do any day now, that just elevates your position even higher, and makes it easier for you to get people to follow you, and for you to get people to join you. So that's very powerful.
Mark, I guess so. Now in your autoresponder, have you changed? I know that you, like me, loaded a bunch of the MLSP sequences. Are you still doing that, or have you changed those to reflect the group now?
No, I have not changed those. I let those stand as is because they're very powerful. And I've gotten people to engage and join just through those autoresponded messages. But what I do is, when I send out my broadcast message, like on Wednesday, if I send it out like a Sunday or a Monday, to let people know about an upcoming webinar, or if I want to send them a broadcast email to give them a blog post, a link to a blog post from the MLSP blog, which is pure value. In that broadcast message that I send out through my autoresponder, and I use AWeber, so I send it out through that, then I will put a PS at the end, and I'll invite them to join my community. But still the most powerful way to get them into your community, and if they're in your autoresponder, chances are they're already connected to you on Facebook. So you certainly can go out there and you can reach out to them, and you can start that conversation. And once you start the conversation and you ask the right questions and you get the answers that you need, then you're going to know if that's a candidate or a prospect, somebody who's really targeted to your target market, or somebody that is the type of person you want to work with. Now, I'm going to do a screen share real fast again, because this is what I wanted to show you. So as an extension of having somebody in your autoresponder series, in your list, you want to connect with them. You want to make sure you definitely connect with them on Facebook so that you can bring them into your community. Now, I would say that the vast majority of people that are in your MLSP list that got there, they opted into a free training, are also people that you already know on Facebook. So that's a good thing. But if they're not, and you want to find them on Facebook, I want to show you what you can do. So I'm going to do a screen share again.
My next question was how to find them. I struggle with that because, even if their name is not a typical name, say John Smith, I'll try to type them in, and because we just have email addresses, in our autoresponders, I don't know which person it is.
Oh, and I understand. You might get a lot of John Smiths. Of course, it's a common name.
Your name, Mark, is not a common name, and the way you spell Mark and the way Korn is spelled, but there might be 10 Mark Korns that come up, and you go, okay, which one? And I try to look at the emails, but that doesn't work.
Well, I'm going to show you a way to make that work. So First of all, unmute yourself, guys, and let me know if you can see my Facebook page.
You're good
Yes.
with me.
Okay, you can?
Yes.
I'm good? Okay. I'm just going to run to my profile for a second. Now, one of the things that you want to do, and you can do very effectively, you're going to have, there'll be times when, when people opt into your list, they can give you more information. In addition to just the email, I mean, you're going to have their name, you're going to have their email, you might also have their phone number. So you can, one of the great things about Facebook is that you can do a Facebook search on just about anything. However, keep in mind, Facebook, just like with anything else, they're always changing their algorithms. So what I'm showing you now may not work next week. I mean, they're going to tweak it a little bit. It works today. Will it work next week? I don't know. But it's not going to be far from what I'm showing you now. And hopefully it will work for weeks and months to come. But let's say, and this is what I copied before. I think I still have it here. So if you have an email address, there are two things I'm going to show you. Number one is on Facebook. Let's see if I copied it. So let's see if it still comes up. I had Claudia's email address over there. Okay? So you can see already I typed in Claudia's email address into Facebook, and you can see it already popped up over there. So if I just hit the little search thing over there, it's going to show Claudia. And then all you have to do is tell me I'm already friends with her, but it may show that you're not, and you might want to connect with Claudia. So if you have an email and it's somebody that you're not currently connected to on Facebook, this is one way that you can do it. If you're not already friends, send them a friend request. And any time you send a friend request, you also want to send a message. And you want to go into their profile, see if you can find out a little bit about them, go into their about page and then send them a message, say, something very brief. I see that we're both online marketers. I'd love to connect. I hope you accept my friend request. Simple. Nothing more than that. But definitely follow up a friend request with a message also. So you want to go in, you want to request to become friends, and then you want to send a brief message just to let them know. And 99.9% of the people that you do that with will definitely accept your friend request. And then it's easy when you start the conversation, and I think I posted last week, the message that I normally, once somebody accepts my friend request, then I send them, I'm happy to include you in my community, in my circle of friends, and, tell me a little bit more about yourself, and I would like to invite you to my community. Is it okay if I send a link? And you'll be surprised how many people are going to say, sure, that sounds great. And they'll ask for a link, and you send them a link to your community, and they join. Now, in addition to doing a search, as far as using, an email, that's one way. You can also plug in a phone number. So if you have somebody that opts in and they give you a phone number, you can do the same thing. But now sticking with the email, here's another good thing, and you can utilize your Gmail account. I would imagine most of us have a Gmail account. If we don't, or if you don't, it's probably a good idea to set up a Gmail account. In addition to everything else, and you have to have one if you're going to be on Google+, so all of you guys have a Gmail account. So I'm going to do a different screen share now. So I'm coming back. I'm going to stop.
So can you search the same way on Google+, like with emails and telephone numbers and?
They have a lot of search parameters on Google+, but I haven't really used them like I have with Facebook, so I can't really answer that question completely, but they do have a lot of different search parameters. So my guess is that you probably can, but I'll show you one easy thing to do. I'm going to do another screen share. Okay. Hey, that didn't work. Let's see.
Hey, you hacked my email.
Yes, I did. Okay, unmute yourself, guys, and tell me if you can see my Gmail.
I see my hacked email.
I see.
Well, this shouldn't be your email. This should be my email.
Yes.
Okay, you guys can see it. So now one of the things that you can do, if you've got Gmail, and this works so well, you want to just, copy and paste the Gmail address, and then go over as if you were going to compose an email to send to somebody. All right, and in the two, you're going to put in their email address, and then all you have to do is just mouse over it, hover over it, and what's going to happen magically is that it's going to populate. If you've got a Google Plus account, it's going to show me your name with a clickable link. It's even going to show me where you live. And if you're not currently in my circle, I can add you to my circle. So now you can do a couple of things. Now you have an image, you have a face. So if now, like you said before, Claudia, you have somebody's name. Let's say it's Mark Horn or John Smith. 10 different John Smiths or 10 different Mark Horns are going to show up. You don't know which is the right one. Well, now you're going to have, in many cases, you're going to have a face that you can compare. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Let me just go back.
But I guess that's my point, is when they come in through your autoresponder, you don't have a face.
No, right, but you do have an email.
That's true.
So with that email, you can plug that email in as an email search on Facebook, and like I showed you with your email, it immediately populated your name. But
yeah, that's cool.
Right, but now to take it one step further and to really utilize, and we've been talking about Google Plus as being a powerful platform even for events, so to take it one step further and to utilize Google Plus more effectively and more efficiently, you can actually take an email address, and I used, of course, yours, so in this case it does show a face, so if you want to connect with that person on Facebook, you add them to your circle on Google Plus, start a conversation on Google Plus, and then from Google Plus, you can, as we've discussed in the past, invite them to be your friend on Facebook, and then once they're your friend on Facebook, it's easier to bring them into your Facebook community. So if I were to click on this live link over here for Claudia, it's going to open up to Claudia's profile on Google Plus. And then I can just, at this point, still loading, I can create, I can add, I'm surprised that Claudia is not already in my circle, but I'm going to add her to my circle now.
I was going to say something about that, Mark. You really hurt my feelings.
And I thought we were already connected, but I guess not. So now you can find out more. You can connect with them on Facebook, you can on Google Plus rather, add them to your circles like we discussed last week. And again, now you have a way of also, if you can't find them on Facebook, this is a powerful way to find them on Facebook, because now you have, because chances are most of the time the way people set up their Google Plus account as far as the name is concerned and the image is concerned, more often than not it's pretty much the same thing because they want to have congruency across all social networks. So now if you were to go into, and of course I'm off my Facebook page, so I've got to go back to Facebook again. So I'm going to stop that screen share, and I'm going to go back real fast into Facebook again. Can you guys see Facebook again?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so now, if I was to just go in now, because now I have Claudia's name, so I'm pasting in the name the way it already appears in Google+, and I know what she looks like. So now if you do a search, I mean, not that there are going to be multiple, Claudia Harmon PVs, but if there were, then in this case it's a slightly different image, but there's a good likelihood because in the Google Plus profile it also shows where she lives. It shows Hawthorne, Nevada. So you're going to find a Claudia Harmon PV. You can, even if it's a slightly different image, the face is going to be similar, so you can tell it's the same person, and you can certainly match the location geographically. So you have a much better idea as to whether that's the right person or not. So, that's another very, very powerful technique you can use for somebody who's in your autoresponder that maybe you're not connected with, because again, you're not necessarily people who are a member of so many different lists. They might open your email, but they might not click on a link to join your community. So it's always very, very powerful if you're not already connected to them on Facebook, or if you are and you haven't had conversations with them in a while, track them down on Facebook, and these are two methods that you can use to do that, and renew the conversation or start the conversation. Go through the steps, the conversation ascension. I'm just going to pop open one more. Let me stop the screen share on this, and I'm just going to go over one other thing. as far as the conversations that Gavin talks about in the Conversation Ascension. You guys can see my notepad again?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
so these are just some of the real good basic questions that you can use, and especially when you finally do bring somebody into your community, it's ideal for that. And you guys all have, the 6 steps. So you guys, if you've gone through, and I'm sure you all have, gone through the pre-training, and you've gone through the module with the Conversation Ascension, you have access to this, you've seen this, but I don't know how many of you have actually used this technique and started, conversing and having conversations. If you haven't, it's very, very powerful. And especially now, Claudia, for somebody like you who's about to become an ambassador and can now monetize, the 6 steps and sell it and earn commissions, these are the questions, the types of questions that you need to be asking the person, your prospect. And you guys all have it in your back office, and you certainly always want to, start by if you ask them a question, you always want to end with an open-ended question, so you're in control of the conversation. And once they respond, positive acknowledgement to their response to you, and then ask another question. When they answer, and hopefully they will, then again, positive response to their comment to you, and then the next question. And then eventually you get to the point where you're asking them, finding out more about their challenges, asking them if they've seen the Network of Marketers online blueprint, and if they haven't, actually providing a link for it. So again, just having the conversation and doing those things is all very, very powerful, but you want to connect with them on Facebook. That's where the magic always begins. And from there, and the proper conversations, the proper questions, you can easily get them into your community.
I seem to be, I don't know what I'm attracting. It's called attraction marketing, but I'm attracting these arrogant people that I have these conversations with, and they brag about how successful they are. And I, like on Instagram, I kept going back and forth with this one guy. Actually, he contacted me first. And I research people. Like, I clicked on his link, and I figured out that he was a member of MLSP. And right off the bat, I told him, I see you're a member of MLSP, because anymore, when they contact you, their goal is to get you to click on there and to join them. So I wanted him to know that I was already in it, so neither of us would waste our time. And then he started asking me about, I told him I was in attraction marketing and I had a group, and he was asking me questions, and I was answering his questions as best that I could. And then he started saying, well, if you won't answer my questions, I'll find someone else who will. And I said, well, if you go check out my group and you come into my community, I said, you have access to the free, network marketing blueprint. And I said, I'll explain everything to you. And he he said, well, I'm not into buying anything. I said, there's nothing to buy. So we were going back and forth about it. And he just, to me, he seemed like a jerk. I don't know what. And then they brag about how successful they are, as if you're not, oh, I'm having a wonderful day. I work at home and all this stuff. And I'm just like, well, I'm not talking to you anymore. I don't know. They act like they're smarter than you, and they don't want to. That seems to be what I'm attracting. I don't get it. I mean, it's attraction marketing. Why am I attracting these people?
Well, that's an excellent question. And you know what? There are a lot of jerks out there. Most people are going to be full of crap, and they're not going to be honest about really being successful. So take everything they say with a grain of salt. And if they come out with that kind of an approach, then it's not somebody that you want to work with anyway. So I would just basically dismiss them and say next, and go on to the next person.
Well, Antonio Thompson, he's been reaching out to me a lot. He knows I'm already in MLSP and everything, and I don't really understand where he's trying to go. I don't know whether he has in some other thing that he's trying to lure me to, but I've had multiple conversations with him this week.
Okay.
And he always reaches out to me first. I never reach out to him, and I'm very interested in how he got to where he got, because did it only like a few months. He said that he set a goal, and he did not stop until he reached that goal.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I burn the candle at both ends, and I get sick, and all that stuff. So I'm curious as to how he exactly handled all of that. But I mean, I'm just a little crumb. Why is he talking to me? That's what I don't understand. I mean, I'm just a little crumb in the. I'm not as big as him. Why is he like wasting his time on me?
Okay, well, first of all, let me, very, very important and something for everybody here to keep in mind. Do not ever think of yourself as in any way, shape, or form as just a little crumb. All right, that you have to have posture. He's definitely trying to recruit you into his business, and he's trying to warm you up, and that's typical for people that are marketers. Now, there's a way to turn the tables and basically do reverse marketing for people that are recruiting you. You can turn around and recruit them. And don't be afraid, just because somebody might be big in the industry or claim to be big in the industry, and some actually may be. Don't be shy and don't be afraid to actually talk to them about joining your community, talk to them about what you're doing and seeing if they might be a good fit for MLSP. Because you have a lot of heavy hitters in the industry that may be part of a power network, maybe part of a different platform, but not necessarily MLSP, or maybe they were in MLSP and then they got out. You can let them know how much it's changed over the years and the different things that we have now with the blog platform and everything.
He was a person of the month last month.
Oh, last month he was.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering why he knows I'm already in it. So I couldn't join under him. So what is he want?
Well, he's not interested in getting you to MLSP. He's probably more interested in getting into his primary, whatever his primary might be. But if that's not anything you're interested in, you always want to maintain control and you want to maintain posture. So if you see that somebody is leading you down a path where even if you did approach them first, and you're trying to get them into MLSP and they find out they already are, or you already know in advance that this person is, then you can have a very nice conversation. You can actually pick their brain. You can ask them questions. You can learn more about them. But don't allow them to control everything, because they are obviously looking to try and get you into whatever opportunity they are in. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Look, let's face it, when you have people that are in MLSP and they go to the group, they're going to see, and they can go through the member list very, very easily, and they can approach every single person in MLSP that's a member of MLSP, and there are tens of thousands, and they can reach out to those people, and they can, they'll know, first of all, a lot of those people that are in the MLSP community are active in MLSP. So he can be contacting you, maybe initially not knowing that you're currently active in MLSP. He may think that you're a member that maybe was and now you left, and now maybe he can get you back in, and then over and above that, get you into his, his personal primary biz. But
we already had that conversation. He knows that I am active in it.
But he didn't know initially when he reached out to you, necessarily.
But he reached out to me. Then there was a lull, a space,
Mm-hmm.
and then this week, all of a sudden, he was reaching out again, and it's multiple conversations. And yeah, I do want to pick his brain. I really want to pick his brain and find out how he dealt with working full-time and all that stuff, I probably don't want to join his business, but I want to know how he went about doing all of that, because I've done it, and I'm burning the candle at both ends. I'm getting sick. I'm doing, I'm trying the best that I can, but then I look at somebody like him, and he has worked full-time, and he set his goal, and he just did it. And I'm like, how does this person do that?
Mm-hmm.
How does he deal with all of it?
Well, don't be shy. Ask him. I mean, if he's an attraction marketer and he's an MLSP, then his main goal is to be a solution provider and to help people. And that's his main goal. Not necessarily to get you into his business, but to provide information to help you to take your business to the next level. So I wouldn't be shy. I would ask him any questions that you possibly might have and see what his response is. And, make it clear to him if it does come up that you're not interested and you already have your own primary business and you're already active with your team in MLSP, but you're curious and you'd like to know, and ask him, see what his response is. And just because he's the member of the month, and I'm not, diminishing anything that he's accomplished, because I don't really know him that well, But just because somebody's a member of the month, that's great, and they've gotten results in MLSP, but I don't know how successful he is. Only he knows that. He might be portraying himself a certain way, but we don't really know how successful he is in his primary business or even in MLSP.
That's all he does. He quit his job, and that's all he does now. And he has a page. And I visit his page once in a while, and he has a lot of good content on that page.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he definitely learned everything. He's probably more technically inclined than me. He probably went and whipped and, set everything up real quick. And, he's probably, like, it takes me a while to catch on to certain things, setting things up and stuff. So he probably did it just like that. But he's got his own page, and he's very active. And I really would like to pick his brain, find out everything that he did, and get educated. Will help. There's got to be things that he knows that I don't. You know what I mean? So anyway.
Yeah, and like I said, I wouldn't hesitate as long as he's initiating the conversation and he's pursuing you. Take advantage of that. You're not necessarily taking advantage of him. If he's a full-time network marketer, full-time online marketer, then this is what he does. And he might have resources that he can point you towards, not necessarily anything that you have to buy. If it is, that doesn't mean it's an obligation that you need to buy it, but you can ask him for any free resources that he has that will help you to see exactly what steps he took to get where it is where he is. And if he started out as a full-time, had a job full-time offline, he had his job, and now he's a full-time online marketer like many people are, then sure, whatever steps he followed to make himself successful, then that is something that could help you. Then by all means, I would reach out, because if you don't ask, you're not going to get answers. So ask him. I'd be curious what his response would be, and to see if he's really, the kind of network marketer that, is an attraction marketer that really just wants to help people, even though there may not be anything in it for him. Because most people are going to ask themselves that question, what's in it for me? And if you really are a true online marketer that really wants to help other people, that's not going to be your question. He's going to be happy to help you, because he may think, okay, she's not a prospect for me now, but if I really provide value and I really help her, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, maybe her current primary is not going to be working anymore, and she may actually want to join mine. So the smart marketers will help you out, even though there might not be anything in it for them right now. Right. So go for it. You have nothing to lose whatsoever.
Okay.
But the other thing I do want to show you guys real fast, and then we are going to start to wind this down, because we're already on again a little bit longer than I wanted to. So I am going to, let's see if there's another share over here real fast. Okay, we're going to go back to Facebook. Guys, just unmute and just let me know if you can see my Facebook page again.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Now, one of the other things that you can do as far as the search, and this basically, Deb, will sort of answer your question, maybe help you also in terms of the type of people that you feel that you're attracting. Because now, if you want to really attract, now you already have friends on Facebook. We all already have friends on Facebook, and you want to go into their profiles and you want to check them out. And you want to see who you want to start up conversations with again, because a lot of these could be very, very good prospects, and they're already friends, even though you may not have spoken to them in a while. Watch for them in the news feed. If you see somebody who, hey, this person's an online marketer, you see they're active, they're getting engagement, you want to also engage, because not only do you want to engage for the sake of helping them out and just showing them so they'll reciprocate, but also if they get a lot of engagement and you put your link to your community and you get 50 people engaging on their post, that's 50 people that are going to see the link to your community. So that's going to give you more exposure. So, but one of the things that you can do, and again, it's using Facebook as a basic search tool. I mean, and again, they will, change their parameters from time to time, like they always do with the algorithm. But if you wanted to do a basic search, you could do something like, right, so all of us basically, as our main niche is network marketing. And one of the other things I wanted to talk about that we'll talk about next week is, not only, creating your niche, and you can have more than one niche. You just want to make sure that for whatever niche or niches you have, that you're creating content that's going to resonate with those people, with your target audience. And it also ties into, your niche, your target market, and in addition to that, you have to have a unique selling proposition. And, we'll discuss all that later on, next week, because it's certainly not going to be time to do that today. But what you want to do basically is find people that are going to be in your target market, and you want to define your niche and refine your niche and make sure that you're not trying to market to everybody, because like we said last week, if you try and market to everybody, you wind up marketing to nobody. So let's say our chosen niche is network marketers, but that's very, very broad. So you certainly want to narrow that down. And, like we spoke about last week, your target audience, my particular one is part-time marketers, between the ages of, let's say, 45 and 55, and things like that. So it's very broad to just go after network marketers. You really want to refine that and drill down and really, and have a niche that, you can really focus on, and that people will basically relate to your content and it's going to really speak to them. But as far as doing a basic search for the right kind of prospect, you can type in something like, let's say, people, whoops, I have to learn how to spell here, people who like network marketing. And I didn't spell people right, so, okay, and then you just click on the little search icon, or you can scroll down, you can see over here, 79,000 people are talking about this, people who like network marketing. So let's just click on that. And what's going to happen now is going to populate a list of basically all people on Facebook that have basically said that they like network marketing or they're on network marketing. Now at the top of the list, it's always going to show you the people that you're already connected to, people that you're already friends with. And so these are people you can also go into their profile, or you can get a little preview over here, and you can see what it says about them. And if these are people that you haven't spoken to in a while that you want to renew acquaintance with, that's great to do. But as you scroll down, it's going to also start to show you, once you get beyond your friends, you're going to have the opportunity to add friends to, like over here with Sue Austin. And it usually will tell you, or you can go into their profile and find out how many mutual friends you have. Because after it exhausts all the people that you're currently friends with, it usually is going to populate them in order of how many mutual friends that you have. So, see, I don't know what, see, let me just try to get down to a section where it's just adding friends. Okay, Tammy Montgomery. So it's telling me a little bit about Tammy, and she's in the, okay, and the traveling family. So she's probably into, that industry, that niche, travel industry. But, you'd certainly, you can, right-click and then open link in a new tab, and then you can go to her profile, find out more about Tammy. Find out if she is the kind of person that you feel that you want to connect with. And you can usually, again, tell that from looking at the modules on their profile page. And most people, probably will give you, have open modules where they're going to talk a little bit about themselves, and you'll know that they're at least open to making new friends. I mean, another type of a search that you can do, let's say I wanted, maybe I'm, in addition to being an online marketer, I'm also an offline marketer, or let's say, for instance, that I want to, I feel that I have a better chance of bringing people into my business if they're in my state. So I can just do something like this, people who like network marketing, let's see, and live in New Jersey. So this is a little bit closer to home. So these are people that you'll have something else in common with that'll make it easier for you to start a conversation. So when you click on that, that's going to open up another list, and there'll be a ton of people. And you can see that over here, lives in Pittstown, New Jersey, lives in Wall, New Jersey, Woodbury Heights, New Jersey, Hamilton, New Jersey. So a lot of these may already be current friends. A lot of them you'll be able to add a friend. And before you do that, of course, you want to jump into their profile, like we've said, and you want to find out a little bit more about them and see how many mutual friends you have. And these, if you can tell more about this and start to make friends on a daily basis with people that maybe have a little bit more in common with you. Just the fact that they're in the same state as you is big. Or maybe you'll see that they have 50 mutual friends, so you can send them a little message. We have a lot of mutual friends. I'd like to connect. And then start the conversation. All you're really looking to do is start the conversation, and then you just don't know where it's going to take you. It can lead to all kinds of very, very good places where you can get very, very good results. So I'm going to stop this share now and come back to you guys. So I will open this up to any questions that you have, and then we're going to start to wind things down. Anything, guys? Any questions?
I thought that was really cool what you just showed us.
Oh, good. Thank you. I mean, these are all things, and again, you know, one of the things that I always mention, but this time I'm actually going to, you know, keep it a little bit shorter, but again, there were things that I wanted to discuss, and I know, Claudia, I know that you've done a lot of research on you know, creating your perfect avatar and target marketing, so I wanted you to share a lot of, you know, some of what you've learned also, and of course that did happen. But by the same token, you know, there are things that go on in the course of a week, and you know, concerns that you have, or issues that you have, or questions that you have, and I think that it's equally, if not more important, to address those things. I mean, we all have the 6 steps right now, so we all have access to that great course. So as you're going through things, you're going to learn an awful lot, and we can also, which we will, you know, use the Hangout just to clarify things, to make sure we're all on the same page, to make sure you understand how to utilize and implement, you know, the 6 steps properly. So, you know, we don't necessarily need to, you want to do it in the community, but in the Hangout, we don't necessarily need to spend every Hangout session training on it. You know, we can talk about other concerns, other things that will help us, you know, immediately, and then just do like a basic Q&A also for any questions that you may have as you're going through the modules. So, you know, I just wanted to mention that. So I'm just going to do one last thing, which we normally do. Again, last week we did it at the end. I usually try to do it at the beginning. But if you guys can just, we'll go in order, just unmute yourself and just very briefly let us know. And I know that, you know, again, some of you may have done a little bit more during the course of the week. Some of you may have done a little bit less. But just, you know, let me know what you've done so far this week to take your business forward, and in particular, where you are with the 6 steps right now, how far along you are, if you're doing the pre-training, if you've gone through Module 1, Module 2, just to give me an idea. So, Claudia, if you want to, if everybody can mute themselves, and Claudia, you can unmute yourself, and you're on.
Okay, well, if you've been to my community, you see I have been working on educating everybody on the perfect avatar, and I hope you guys found some value in that. You know, I've also been working on other postings that I'm going to do. My mind just went absolutely blank. Basically, that's it. That's what I've been working on.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, as long as you're doing something, whatever it is, I mean, you're doing something every day, every couple of days, every week to take your business forward, you know, that's the main thing, and that's what it's all about. So also, like normal, as you guys are, you know, talking a little bit, I'm also going to start making some Hangout images so that I can share them with you also. So, Claudia, you can mute yourself, and Deb, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and answer the same question. I'm going to make an image that I can share with you guys.
Okay, what was the question?
Basically, what you did this week to take your business forward, and in particular, where you are right now with the 6 steps. You know, as far as are you doing the pre-training, or you know, through any of the modules yet, that type of thing.
I'm slow in the modules because I'm trying to still complete Instagram training, and I don't. There's Instagram trainings, you know, on each module. They're like over 2 hours long, and I don't really have that kind of time, so I'm trying to. Gavin says to pick one thing and to work on that, so that's what I'm basically focusing on. and less on going through the 6 steps right now. I'm trying to focus on learning as much as I can about the Instagram because I have April Marie Tucker's and I have another whole training thing that I have. So I'm trying to implement that and do as much as I can on the Instagram thing, mainly because I'm at work all day and I can pop in and then do stuff and I can go into like a studio thing app and make images and stick them on. But as far as the 6 steps, I'm still, I got done with module 1 and that's it. Now listening to you guys today, I think I should try to focus more on that too. Because I think that would be very helpful. But my days are, I can only fit so much into one day, and that's I'm having problems figuring out what to do and what not to do, what's more important and what isn't. But you need to take action, and if you're not taking action, if you're always training, then you're just not really doing anything either. So that's, but I did do something every day. I mean, I like made maybe 1 or 2 posts everywhere, but I didn't make the kind of posts that I really wanted to. And like I said, I had the computer thing and everything. As I felt like I was organized at the beginning of the week, and then all that happened. So I'm hoping that I can be more organized this week and do more of each thing. That's all.
No, that's excellent. And one of the things I want to just, mention for you, and then you and I, like a lot of us, are in a similar situation because we work the day job full time, and it is difficult. You need to leverage your time. What I would probably suggest. Instagram is good. I've generated a lot of leads in Instagram, and I certainly, use the platform, and I suggest that everybody use it, within, your own personal limitations. But one of the things, you can certainly utilize the Instagram training from April Marie, again, just to get people into your community, to use it as a teaser post and to offer the training. Even if you haven't yourself gone through it, you can still use it to get people into your community and get people as a lead in MLSP. But what maybe you should do, and I basically agree with the last thing you said, is I think more powerful and what will be a bigger help to you, and I think that considering your time is more limited, I think your focus probably should come off of Instagram, because yes, the training modules and everything is very lengthy, even longer than our Hangouts, which is hard to believe. But you probably should tend to do that a little bit more. I would focus more on Gavin's training, really, get your community to the next level, start having those conversations, get people into MLSP. It'll certainly give you more of an opportunity to do that. I think, posting on Instagram is great, but again, it's just like posting. If you're not getting engagement, it's not going to do you any good. If you get people into your community and that's your focus with the available time that you have, you'll be able to start conversations. You'll be able to take the relationship to the next level, and you'll be able to get them as leads and possible signups. So I think in your case, just like my own, I don't spend a lot of time on Instagram. I did in the past, and I got results, and I still do it, but not as much because I just don't have the time or the energy. So I think that probably you should focus on one thing, and I think in your case, and it is in my case also, my focus is Facebook. That's my main focus, and I think you'd be better served if that were yours as well, and getting your community built up and providing content in your community and getting more members.
I am getting a lot of good, now that I've been on Instagram for a while, I am getting a lot of good engagement, and I have people that constantly visit me and like me and comment on me, but what I am not getting is people coming into the group from there. That is what I'm not getting. And I keep wondering why, I have like 400 or so followers now, and people, I'm following April Marie's training, going in there trying to contact 10 people a day and commenting and asking them to follow me and blah, 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 but they're not coming into my group. So, I don't know what to do about that.
Well, you're not doing anything wrong, because that's, the best thing to do is following, her training, and I know that's what she suggests. And, just because you're connecting with somebody and you're commenting and, you have a live link on your profile page back to your community, doesn't mean everybody's going to join the community. I mean, if you had 10,000 followers, a good percentage of them probably would have by now. But, when you're first starting out and you have 400 or so, which is great, it's not going to be as easy to get people into your community. I mean, you really have to send them a direct message. You you're doing the right thing by commenting, but you have to send them a direct message, and you have to invite them. More than anything, invite them, not necessarily to your community, but as a first step and something that they'll be more, probably apt to acknowledge and follow and do, is to just ask them to connect with you on Facebook and give them a link to your profile. So if it's not working, just giving out a link to your community, because a lot of people don't like to join something. They think it's going to cost them something. I don't want to join. It's even if it's free, they're concerned. So just something innocent like connect with me on Facebook, and then start the conversation, bring them into your community that way, might be more effective. But I'm happy to hear that you are having engagement on Instagram, because that's great. But I would, probably spend a little bit less time on Instagram and a little bit more time on Gavin's training. I think it'll definitely, prove to be more beneficial for you. Okay, but you're doing great. I'm happy that you're taking action as whenever you can, and I think that's great. So thanks for sharing. Dig, unmute yourself, and your turn.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Yes, I just want to go slightly back on the issue of taking a community link in other people's posts. What I do, which I think may be helpful, I talk with the owner first that I was at the Hangout, I was trained that I could tag, may I tag, and you feel free also to tag. So far I've got 2 who agreed, and one even said I must teach her, which I did. So instead of just throwing in the tag community link, I ask people first. Then Instagram, I'm also using it, and I've used it and nobody joined my community. Then Mark said maybe I shouldn't take them to the community, I should take them to the profile. Now that's the way I'm going. Mark, what I want to ask, do I have to put my link in that direct message, or should I tell them to? What I've done in my bio, I've now put my Facebook profile. Should I tell them go to my bio, or I was reluctant to, I say, please go to my bio, or ask me to send you the profile link, or send me your profile link, and I will request friend. I'll make a friend request. And regarding the, okay, speak. Mark, you wanted to make a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think that probably the best thing to do, because you want to make it as easy as possible for people to connect with you. So I think if you put your profile link, on there, and for Facebook, and you just tell people in a direct message, please visit my profile, and you can just connect with me directly on my Facebook profile, and you just send them to a live link on your Instagram profile. It'll make it easier for them to connect with you on Facebook, and they'll be more likely to go ahead and do that. If they first have to copy and paste or something like that, they may decide not to. Or if you give them too many hoops to jump through, it may be more difficult. So I would definitely say, put the live link on your Instagram profile to your Facebook profile page, and when you send a direct message, just tell them to visit your profile link, and you can just click on that and connect with you on Facebook.
Okay, no, thanks. And regarding the 6-step sponsoring, I have just gone through the GTK, and now I'm going to the next step, get to know you. I've even tried to do it through Skype, particularly with 2 prospects, and they are doing their best not to talk to me. How may we speak on Skype? How ready are you? Then they said, no, I will come back to you, but I am after they get to know you. Otherwise, also, I have managed to invite people to the Hangout on Tuesday, also managed to invite them to the webinar on Wednesday. That's how I am going. Thanks.
No, that's great, Dig. Again, I'm thrilled to see that you're taking action, and I see that you always do. I see that you're one of the first ones to get out, create webinars for the Wednesday webinars. So I see that you're definitely taking, you're being proactive and you're taking great action, and you're not waiting for people to come to you. You're reaching out to them. So I mean that's great. And as far as the getting to know you and all the training, the modules that you're going through, that's terrific. And one of the things that I try to do as well, and it's not going to always work with everybody, but I think that for people that maybe it depends upon where they live in the world also, it's easy. I like having Skype conversations. I'll have phone conversations, or if not phone, then Skype conversations, and even though they say that they will, but they might not be ready. Make sure if they're a prospect and you've had conversations and you've connected with them on Skype, stay in touch with them and pursue it. Send them a message every now and then. How is your business going? What's going on with your business? How are you doing? You ask them the same thing that we talk about here. What are you doing to take your business forward? I'd like to talk to you. Maybe there's something I can do to help you with, building your business. Any number of things, just again as a conversation starter. But if they've shown an interest in speaking to you, and even though they're not ready to speak to you on Skype yet, I would stay in touch with them and follow up with them, because one of these days, hopefully in the not too distant future, they will be ready to talk to you on Skype. And then, again, once you have conversations with people and they know you're really a real person, because most people don't take it to that level, and the marketers that do usually will have more success. So you're doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing. And again, it's a process, and it's going to happen, and you're going to start to see results as you do this consistently, and you persevere. Then the results will start to come. So thanks, Dig. Okay, Glenna, if you can unmute yourself real fast, also.
Okay. What I've done this week is I did the first module on the 6th day. Well, it was the pre-training module for Gavin. I also set up my name for my business, so I'm going to start setting up my fan page and my community page using that name. I've made a couple of posts this week on Facebook. I actually participated some on Facebook finally. I created an event for Tuesdays. Last Tuesday's MLSP event, and I didn't get the link for the Wednesday one till late, and I just didn't have time to do that. And then with the event on Tuesday, I invited a lot of people. So that's what I've done this week.
That's excellent. Sounds like you've had quite a productive week, and that's great.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you've done a lot of different things too. Again, each of those things, even though they may seem like small steps, I mean, they have a cumulative effect, and small steps on a consistent basis is better than doing nothing for a month and then just having massive action. I mean, so if you do things, even small steps every single day, you're going to move your business forward much more quickly, and people see that you're involved and active on a day-to-day basis, and they come to expect that, and they look at you differently, as opposed to people that just basically, show up every now and then, because that's, part of being a solution provider and part of having a presence on Facebook or any social media platform is being there on a regular basis, so people can come to expect that. So what you're doing is great, and keep up the terrific work. And now, Tamara, if you can unmute, you're welcome. If you can unmute yourself, it's your turn.
Okay, well, this week I finally got access to the 6 step, so I'm going through the first couple modules through the pre-training. I'm working on now regarding the conversation ascension. It's starting to all make more sense, and I was able to unpark my MLSP so that once I get into the next module on how to do teaser posts and stuff, I now have access to the right training. I've written a couple blog posts in my community, created some documents. I really haven't engaged anybody yet this week as far as getting them more into my group. I've been more focusing on the training, so once they get into the group, I know what to do with them. So I'm following the steps through Gavin's training, and making sense of everything what you've taught us so far, and now all starting to fall into place and know how the progression is going to go. So as I move forward, I'll be adding more content and following the steps that Gavin tells us.
Excellent. That's great, Tamara. And I did notice that you unparked yourself, so that's great, because yeah, now you can definitely utilize all the great training and all the free giveaways, you know, certainly to your advantage, not only to get people into your community, but also to get leads in MLSP. And as you get leads in MLSP, you know, the likelihood of them joining you in MLSP is greater. And, you know, I'll mention what I've mentioned to you guys before also, even on Facebook, which is very powerful. If you have a prospect and you want to create like a three-way conversation, a Facebook chat, and bring me into it, you know, I'm always open to doing that and available to doing that. And I've done that many times in the past. And that also, I can answer a lot of questions. You can see how I answer the questions and what questions I ask. And, you know, if that'll help you guys to get signups, and that's something that I'm really very happy to do. So I think it's great. Again, you're going through, I'm really, really thrilled that you have access to the 6 steps now. And I know that as you go through the training, it definitely is going to start making more sense. And things are going to start to crystallize and fall into place. And that's what it's all about. You know, again, it's a journey, it's a process, one day at a time, one step at a time. And before you know it, all of a sudden the light bulb goes off. You have that light bulb moment. And I think it's great that you're actually doing the training, and then so that you know exactly as you bring people into your community how to behave, how to act with them, what to speak to them about, what kind of value to provide for them. So I think you're definitely going about it the right way. So that's fabulous. Anyway, guys, okay, this was better than I have been in the past, but we definitely, longer than I had hoped. So I will get you a replay link so that if you want to get it out to people, you know, for added value, again, you know, leverage it, use this because there is value in the, you know, these Hangouts that we have. You know, use it as a teaser post for anybody that may want a copy of the replay link, and get them to join your community if they're not already in your community, and then, you know, certainly send it to them, give it out to them that way. So guys, you know, there were some things that I'll send you, you know, through the through our focus chat group, some other things that I wanted to, you know, go over that we didn't get a chance to. So, you know, and then hopefully we'll have, I won't be available.
Hey, Mark, I don't mean to cut you off. I got workers pulling in right now, so I got to run.
Go, go, go.
I just didn't want to cut out on the group. See you guys next week.
Have a great week. We'll see you around the community. Take care. The first week, actually, you know what, guys? I'm just going to end the broadcast right now and just stay on for 2 more minutes because I just want to mention one other thing. Okay, so I'm stopping.